Many have said I am fortunate, but good fortune alone does not sustain health over 40 years. Habits do. At 92, I continue to drive and walk without discomfort. I have not suffered even a cold for decades. While others attribute my well-being to genetics, I understand it is the result of daily practice. Aging does not abruptly diminish health. Rather, it is worn down gradually through the choices we neglect, the movements we forgo, the shallow breaths, and most critically, the moment we relinquish faith in our body's potential for improvement. Strength, lost through neglect, can also be regained through consistency. This I have learned not from academic study, but through lived experience. Though doctors once advised me to take things easy, I chose instead to listen to my body. Gradually, I discovered 5 simple exercises that form the foundation of my vitality. These are not arduous workouts, but intentional movements that restore strength, concentration, equilibrium, and tranquility. They require neither a gym nor youth, merely commitment. If you are willing to grant your body the same steady care you once offered to your loved ones, these habits can be transformative. Allow me to share the 5 exercises that have maintained my strength, clarity, and resistance to illness, not merely in theory, but in the truth of a long, well-lived life. 1. The Spinal Awakening Ritual, a 3-minute morning reset. Many attribute illness to genetics or infection, yet after 92 years free from the significant illness and having avoided even a cold for 40 years, I can attest that real health originates at the very start of each day. Before rising, I give my body an essential message. You are alive and I need you. Still lying flat with eyes closed, I gently turn my head from side to side, slowly activating the nerves of my neck. Drawing my knees towards my chest, I softly embrace them and rock side to side, as if nurturing my own spine. I then relax, allowing my back to settle into the mattress, feeling more aligned and alert, without haste and abrupt movements, but with the full attention. Though this may seem trivial, this 3-minute ritual resets how the nervous system responds to the day. Many older adults leap from bed with stiff backs and joints, propelling themselves upright, which triggers sudden spikes in blood pressure and confusion, often leading to falls or strokes during the morning. By waking the spine gently, the entire body is given time to recall its vitality. The spine is not merely a column of bones, it is the main thoroughfare for every nerve in one's body. When it is sluggish, all functions, balance, digestion, cognitive clarity are affected. As we age, the spine craves rhythm rather than force, attention over speed. I have practiced this gentle sequence every day since I was 52. It is more than a custom, it is a ceremony. Scientific evidence supports this. Research published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy demonstrates that seniors participating in morning spinal mobilization experience fewer falls, improved posture, and greater mental acuity. Regardless of statistics, what matters is the sensation of feeling lighter, looser, and more connected to one's body. Where once I woke stiff and apprehensive, I now greet the day with calm. This ritual requires not strength or flexibility, but intention. In a world that propels us towards ceaseless activity, the choice to pause and be present is the first act of healing. A strong body cannot be constructed on a fragile foundation, and the spine is the parak of our every movement, breath, and moment of aliveness. Thus, begin the day by honoring it. Should you wonder what follows this essential 3-minute ceremony, let me introduce another approach requiring nothing more than a kitchen chair, one that may well prevent your next fall. 2. The magic chair routine, restoring strength with everyday objects. At one time, I believe strength stemmed from exertion and intense effort. Yet, beyond 60, my body no longer responded to intensity, but to consistency. I recognized this most clearly through a simple, often overlooked household item, the kitchen chair. I noticed with some alarm that rising was becoming a challenge. Standing from a chair required effort, reaching caused discomfort, and my thighs, as once strong, now trembled. The truth dawned. Strength was being lost incrementally, unnoticed until nearly falling. When reaching for a pan awoke me to the reality. Thereafter, each morning I would sit in the kitchen chair, feet firmly planted, and slowly lift one leg at a time, holding briefly before lowering. In the beginning, mere inches demanded effort. Persisting, I moved next to the arms, lifting them out in front, controlled and deliberate, for 10 slow repetitions. There were no weights, no haste, simply breathing, presence, and movement. This required less than 5 minutes, yet within weeks I observed improvements no medication ever brought. I could rise from bed without difficulty, balance unaided, and carry groceries. Most importantly, I felt capable again. Regaining trust in one's own body is profoundly empowering. That chair was transformed into my training ground for independence. Medical professionals refer to this as functional movement, mimicking everyday actions to keep the nervous system alert. Studies, including those in the journals of gerontology, indicate that routine seated leg and arm raises significantly increase lower limb strength and reduce the risk of falls by over 30%. However, I need no scientific study to attest to its effectiveness. I live it. The real advantage of this routine is its accessibility. Suitable for individuals recovering from surgery, managing arthritis, or simply contending with the passage of years. There's no need to stand, use fancy equipment, or even leave the chair. Just a bit of breath and a willingness to begin. Our bodies are not in need of punishment, merely reminder. Every chair lift whispers to the muscles that purpose remain. Every gradual arm raise signals to the brain that we are still in motion, still alive. If a kitchen chair can rejuvenate strength, consider what the breath can achieve. The subject of my next discovery, and perhaps the most potent medicine that requires no purchase. 3. The 4-7-8 breath, calming the mind and fortifying the immune system. It took years to realize that breath, not medication or muscle, offers the greatest healing. Had someone told me a particular breathing rhythm could stabilize blood pressure, sharpen focus, and help avert illness, I would have been skeptical. Experience, however, is a compelling teacher. At 68, signs of deep fatigue beset me. Not ordinary tiredness, but a weight that impaired my cognition and digestion, leaving me irritable without apparent illness. Despite reassurances from my physician, I sensed something amiss. My introduction to the 4-7-8 breathing technique was serendipitous. The method is straightforward. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8, through pursed lips. It incurs no cost and requires no supplement. Sitting quietly, I inhaled, held, and exhaled as described, repeating several times. Within minutes, my pulse slowed, chest softened, shoulders relaxed, and for the first time in weeks, my thoughts stilled. That stillness became my medicine. I incorporated the practice into my daily routine, 4 rounds in the morning and evening. Sleep improved, digestion stabilized, and my immune system, already robust, seemed invincible. Even in challenging seasons, my body remained resilient. The medical science clarifies why. The 4-7-8 breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting rest, digestion, and cellular repair. It signals safety to the body, lowering cortisol, balancing hormones, and increasing oxygen supply to vital organs. The approach builds resilience, not reactivity. To me, breath became a bridge between thoughts and health, between the anxieties of aging and the serenity of presence. Each exhalation was a quiet release of fear. Each inhalation an affirmation of continued strength. Breathing is not merely automatic, but transformative. A way to moderate the body's entire rhythm by means of conscious awareness. I never expected healing could be so quiet, so accessible and gentle. If you believe breath can make such a difference, consider the greater impact of a simple daily walk, not only for physical health, but one's sense of purpose. For walking as medicine, a 15-minute daily practice. Earlier in life, I viewed walking merely as a means of transportation, not as a meaningful exercise or vital activity. However, by the age of 65, everything changed. My body felt heavier, my legs ached, thoughts were more entangled, and my days seemed constricted rather than expansive. I returned to walking, outside, without distractions, solely with the sound of my steps and breath, fully present amidst the world. At first, it was only a short 5-minute stroll. My knees protested and my back strained, yet each day I persevered. 5 minutes grew to 10, then 15. This was not about burning calories, nor clinging to youth. Rather, I was reclaiming an intrinsic, often neglected, connection with my body and the world. Progress was tangible. Posture improved, the shuffling gait vanished, digestion restored, mental clarity returned, and worries faded in the light of those morning walks. I was no longer simply aging, I was awakening. Many underestimate the impact of walking, viewing it as too mild for efficacy. In reality, especially for older adults, the most powerful movements are those that honor rather than exhaust the body. Attentive walking, feeling breath, swinging arms loosely, placing each foot with care, not only moves the muscles but recalibrates the nervous system, supports lymph circulation, and oxygenates the brain. This form of movement asserts, I am still here, I am not done yet. Research supports these benefits. The British Journal of Sports Medicine found that just 20 minutes daily can markedly reduce inflammation in older adults. Stanford researchers demonstrated that outdoor walking enhances creative cognition far more than remaining sedentary indoors. Anecdotally, I find that after my walk, I am revitalized, whereas when I neglect it, sluggishness and lethargy ensue. Smiling as I walk, even if not immediately joyful, elevates mood, decreases blood pressure, and soothes the vagus nerve, subtly improving health. If you have felt immobilized physically, emotionally, or mentally, do not wait for perfect circumstances. Simply begin, open the door, put one foot forward, and allow your body to remember its design for movement. Once in motion, it is crucial to nourish the body properly. The most important decision one can make each day. The hand opening ritual. Small movements for independence. In aging, unexpected challenges arise. not merely aching knees or fading senses, but the jarring moment when hands seem no longer under control, when grip falters or writing trembles. Even basic tasks, such as dressing, become formidable. This subtle shift signals a deeper truth. Our hands, vital tools of strength and precision, may diminish before other functions. My experience began at 74, with clumsy mishaps and dropped keys. I realized the issue was not mere coordination, but a loss of the connection between hands and mind. Thus, I initiated a modest routine. Each morning, before grasping utensils or a toothbrush, I stretch my hands wide, splaying the fingers like wrist, then close them slowly into a firm fist, holding briefly before releasing. Repeated 10 times, this requires no equipment, only mindful attention. Initially, I questioned its merit, but soon experienced renewed circulation, diminished cramps, and improved dexterity. Once again, I felt capable. Hands are more than mere appendages. They underpin autonomy, enabling us to feed, care, protect, and connect. Their decline is not merely functional, but strikes at identity. I now treat their strength as sacred. Studies validate this experience. The Journal of Aging and Physical Activity reported that hand strengthening exercises significantly reduce arthritis pain, improve grip stability, and enhance neural communication in older adults. In fact, grip strength now serves as an indicator of longevity and general vitality. Yet, even in the absence of studies, my personal results are evident. Just 5 minutes in the morning suffices to preserve this important sense of independence. The exercise is simple, easily overlooked, yet essential. Through consistent small acts, we assert control over our bodies and ultimately our lives. Sometimes strength roars, at other times it whispers, reminding us there is still time. Should you have followed me through breath, walk, chair, spine, and hands, you may now wonder what remains, what nightly practice allows for restoration and perhaps reversal of age-related decline while sleeping. That shall be shared in due course. Conclusion. The subtle strength of consistent practice. On reflection, over more than 9 decades, I have acquired a profound understanding. Aging is not the end of health, but the dawn of a new form of strength, rooted not in youth or speed, but in regularity, attentiveness, and self-compassion. The 5 exercises delineated: spinal awakening, chair routine, the 4-7-8 breath, healing walk, and named hand practice, are not sensational. They will not attract public applause, but they have bestowed upon me something invaluable: independence, peace, and a body I trust. The truth, rarely acknowledged, is that health past 60 is less still about doing more and more about doing less. Yet doing it with intent. Training as an athlete or adhering to ascetic diets are unnecessary. What counts is the regularity of even modest efforts performed daily. Health is cultivated not through sporadic intensity, but through unwavering repetition. If you wonder whether it is too late, let me offer reassurance. If you are drawing breath, it is never too late. I commenced most of these practices in my 60s, well after discomfort and decline had set in. That is precisely when they matter most. There will be days of reluctance, days when the body protests and the mind strays, persist nonetheless. The rewards extend beyond the physical, bringing emotional and spiritual renewal. Acts of self-care communicate to the body that it is still valued, that it remains deserving of care. Such affirmation changes everything. fostering dignity, deeper breath, and a positive outlook. Not simply aging, but living. Therefore, I encourage you, do not hesitate for motivation, nor wait for flawless plans or equipment. Begin today. Rotate your ankles before rising. Sit tall and lift your legs deliberately. Breathe with intention, walk purposefully, envisage the self and day you wish to create. Every act of care is a defiance against decline, affirming that you are not a bystander to aging, but the steward of your own vitality. Take that next step, start anew tomorrow. Knowing that you are not merely extending your years, but enriching them. Let these principles inspire you to live wholeheartedly and with integrity. Reflect on which aspect might serve you best and share your intentions. Together, we may foster resilience and embrace the truth of living well, regardless of age.